Hi, I'm Stephen Page. Stay tuned. Taped with Rabbi Doug is next.
We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug. We're gonna see Rabbi Doug on your TV tonight. But Daddy, I want to watch Monday Night Football.
Forget about Monday Night Football. There's no other thing we're going to watch on Monday but Rabbi Doug.
Yeah, Rabbi Doug on TV tonight. We're going to see Rabbi Doug.
Oh, everybody talk about Doug. Shalom and welcome to Taped with Rabbi Doug and Steph-N-EE.
Hey.
Yes, I am back here with Steph-N-EE once again. We are together. We are here on TV. It's been too many years.
Yeah.
So many viewers have, written in and dropped notes and said to me when I've run into them, where has Steph-N-EE been? Well, Steph-N-EE is right here. She has her own show, Steph's Show,
yes.
Which airs in the northwest suburbs.
Yes.
And Steph-N-EE, how are you?
Great.
So how long have you been back in the Chicago area? Steph-N-EE, for those of you who have been with our show over the years, know that she moved to California, moved back to Chicago, then she moved to Vegas after California,
yeah. Okay.
and then moved back to Chicago again. She forgot already. So she's been in and out of town, but she's back here in the Chicago area. And how long has Steph's Show been on the air? How long have you been doing that?
About almost 2 years.
And what do you think is the highlight since you've been back on TV again? As far as subject matter that you've been doing?
Oh, good question. I do mostly one-on-one interviews, and I have been doing something similar to what we do, where I have a couple people on not regularly, but more than once. So that's been fun because I know them well from a long time ago when we knew each other.
And we've known each other certainly for over 20 years, and
but we haven't kept in touch for many, many years.
No, but we were out of touch a little bit when she was out of town, but we never completely lost touch because we had email. We were in touch by email and everything like that the whole time.
Yes.
Even though, and our children, both of our children, our oldest children, are both in high school, in their upper years of high school. And
now yours is a senior.
Mine is a senior.
And my son is a junior.
Is a junior.
And I'm very proud of your daughter. Even she's not my daughter, but she's your daughter. I couldn't be more proud if I was her mother. She's going off to college. She's like a valedictorian, and she's going to be a doctor.
I hope she's valedictorian.
Oi gewalt.
Oi gewalt. So what are you doing these days as far as your own personal life, like to keep busy and working and stuff? What kind of field are you in? Now, everybody knows I'm a rabbi. Everybody knows that I teach and all those things, kosher supervision, those things.
Yes,
what are you doing these days?
I have no comment. Well, if you watch my show, you know that I work in retail. I sell maternity clothes. I'm perfect for that. I'm 45 and not pregnant. But anyways, and I do artwork, which I meant to show you. I just finished a poodle.
I want you to know Steph-N-EE is a fantastic artist. She does murals. She does paintings. She has done gigantic things.
Well, I used to.
I'm saying over the years you have.
Yes.
And she's very, very talented. And if you ever saw her portfolio, you would say, oh my goodness, you should have an art show. That would be so cool.
Yeah. Well, Roberta Markbright does a show called Contempo, and I was on there. And you might have seen it. And it was a whole show on my artwork, and that was fun to, show it on TV.
And our dear friend Roberta and her husband Jerry, who's of course been on my show too, my favorite referee. Do
you wonder why?
we love their show.
Hey, how about that Super Bowl? As we're taping, it's February 2013. The Harbaugh brothers competed against each other. It was a close game, and John Harbaugh won. The Ravens won.
The Ravens won.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people thought it was an upset, that they didn't expect it. But it was, you know what? It was a high-scoring game. It was a really good game. It wasn't a game where one team dominated the other all through, and that kind of makes it a lot of fun.
Yes.
And the two brothers being the coaches, I think that's kind of a cool thing too. That's never happened in the history of football.
I know, it's cool. Record-setting.
Record-setting. Here we are, 2013.
Yes.
Obama is in his second term.
Here we are. Yes.
He's kind of already a lame duck. He was only inaugurated just a few weeks ago, and he's already a lame duck in his last term. And things are moving along. I am once again this year going to be attending the AIPAC conference in Washington, which is the America-Israel Policy Conference. And
no, wait. Say that again. What is it?
America-Israel Policy Conference.
What do you hope to accomplish there?
Well, what it is it's showing support for the relationship between Israel and America as being partners for peace and democracy.
Now, is Obama?
Obama speaks. For the last 2 years, President Obama came and met with us, and so did Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Last year, Peres, the president of Israel, also came, and certain people like last year, Joe Lieberman, former vice presidential candidate and senator.
And he's Jewish.
He is. He was one of the main speakers because he's retiring now.
Really?
He's just retired. And
how old is he?
I don't know. I don't know
Well,
exactly
let's say
how
hi
old he
to
is.
Joe Lieberman.
Hi, Joe Lieberman.
And hi, Mr. Obama.
He was real nice. He took a picture with me and didn't have time to do an interview. But Newt Gingrich was with us, and Romney was with us. So it was really quite a conference.
Did you meet the president of Israel?
The president of Israel was there with us. Yeah.
So what did you say?
Oh, no, nothing personal. Nothing personal to him. We were with groups.
Did he look like he does on TV?
He does.
Okay. And Obama too.
And Obama too.
And you met him when he was a senator.
Of course, that's true. That's true. And the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who's the head of state, he's been there for the last 2 years, is also with us. And I had him on the show when he was first Prime Minister and then left office, because this is his second run of Prime Minister of Israel. And I had him on my show actually when he spoke in Chicago. So this will be the fourth time, if he shows up, which we expect, the fourth time that he'll have been on my show when I tape in Washington this spring.
Cool.
This Arab spring, it's actually the end of winter.
You travel a lot.
I don't travel that much, but I do get around a lot, that's for sure.
You know, Netanyahu, is he also the Prime Minister of Israel?
That's what I'm saying. He is the Prime Minister.
And
He's the head of state.
Okay, so
he's the head of state. It's the same
and last
thing.
year was someone else.
In Hebrew, the Prime Minister is called Rosh HaMemshalah, which means head of state. So in English, that's called the Prime Minister.
Ah, there you go.
There you go.
Your daughter wants to live in Washington, D.C.?
My daughter wants to live in either New York or Washington, D.C. to go to college. She is very into politics. She's very into chemistry and science. And she wants to be in one of those two places because she thinks that it'll be good for her professionally and educationally. But she's first plans on learning in Israel. Yes. First plan on learning in Israel.
And she speaks Hebrew.
She does speak Hebrew and Spanish and English.
But she does not speak Yiddish.
She does not speak Yiddish.
Why is that? You don't want her to speak Yiddish?
No, it's not that I don't want her to. It's that in the schools that we go to, they don't teach Yiddish. Yeah. So
wait, for the next minute, you and I are going to speak Yiddish.
Sei gesund.
I was thinking of this today. My favorite Yiddish word, I think, is knedlach.
Knedlach. You like matzo balls. Okay. You like matzo balls.
Oh my gosh, who doesn't like matzo balls? You like matzo balls, don't you? Okay.
When was the last time you had matzo balls?
You know what? I had it over winter break.
You did, huh?
Homemade matzo ball. I helped make it.
Homemade matzo balls.
It was good.
Yeah, we get really good homemade matzo balls in my house. You're gonna have to come for Shabbos dinner.
You know, but by the way, a lot of soups have MSG, and I get headaches.
Well, you know, that's an interesting thing because that's a lot of the reason that we make homemade soup from scratch, because when you buy soup in the mixes or pre-made, they often do have MSG in them, and homemade soup doesn't have it. But what do you add to your chicken soup? Let's talk about Jewish cooking stuff. What do you add to your chicken soup when you make it?
If we're talking about Jewish cooking, I am not the one to talk to because my specialty is salmon, where you just put it on foil, put on some garlic salt, it's really good, and you bake it. I helped make matzo balls, and it was just with a mix to make the matzo balls, and I don't know, Doug,
So my wife makes them from scratch, and they are really good. 90% of the time they're fluffy. 10% of the time they're a little hard, but it kind of matters, I guess, how much in the mix you have the eggs and everything else that goes into it when that happens. Whether you use more matzo meal or less matzo meal in it, but they're always good. They're always good.
Yeah,
and
so
we love it.
Yeah, and anyone out there, they could write in and let us know their chicken soup
Yes,
recipes.
absolutely. taped@tvrabbi.com or info@tvrabbi.com. You can send us your matzo ball soup recipe. And next time Steffi and I do a show together after we get that email, we will not only answer your email and thank you, but we'll talk about matzo ball soup and read your recipe.
Oh boy, you know what? I don't have a lot to say about matzo ball soup because I don't really know much about cooking it. But if you do want to write in, you can also write in to me. Steffi234@AOL.com. STEPHEE234.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
Same email address for years and years and years.
From way back when.
From way back when.
Yeah,
so, is there something that you like? You know, Spencer, your son is a big boy. You know, obviously a teenager. Is there something that you make for him that he like really loves?
Ooh, you know what? I'm glad to say Spencer does know how to cook. Basic stuff, so he does a lot of cooking for himself. Sometimes even for me, aren't I the lucky one?
Well, living in Vegas, he was so close to his grandparents that your mom probably cooked for him a lot, did she?
We didn't live with them, but
no, but I'm saying you live close, right?
No, well, my parents, my dad usually cooks barbecues, and they have a crock pot where they cook it all day long. So we did go over there sometimes.
Are your aunt and uncle still living in Vegas too?
They are.
So do they cook and invite everybody over a lot?
No, I don't. I hardly ever go over there. But my cousin is having a baby, and he has one already who's almost a year old. So congratulations to Brandon. Anyone out there who knows my cousin Brandon?
I know Brandon, so that's really exciting.
Yes,
that's really exciting.
He's in his early 30s.
Very nice.
How are you? I'm Melissa Foreman. Stay tuned. Taped with Rabbi Doug is coming right back.
Once they've outgrown their toddler seat, they're still not ready for adult safety belts alone. 4'9" is the magic number. Until then, kids need a booster seat. Make sure your little pumpkin gets there safely. Visit boosterseat.gov.
Don't go away. Taped with Rabbi Doug. We'll be right back.
I wouldn't have been at this ceremony if I hadn't been at this ceremony first. Unfortunately, nearly 30% of U.S. high school students aren't making it to graduation. And every one of us, every parent, every friend, and neighbor, has the responsibility to provide the support and encouragement they need to make it through. Because we all need to see a lot more of these pictures.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am 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 an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I
am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am America.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
Hello, this is Ed Robertson from Bare Naked Ladies, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug. Oh, that's Bob and Doug. Oh.
Achievements of the modern age. We've come so far.
I have a dream.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And we have so far to go.
I'm Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, and you're watching Taped with Rabbi Doug.
I was going to ask you something. You know what? Can I just jump right in there? This is totally breaking.
Right in. Go ahead.
This is totally out. This is a segue that is just cutting off to something else.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a Bible question.
Okay. Go ahead. Segue off to Bible.
The Garden of Eden, the perfect place. Now we're talking about the Old Testament.
Gan Eden in Hebrew. Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden.
Garden of Eden.
The Torah.
Now, if this is the perfect place, Is that what the Garden of Eden is?
I guess you could have called it that.
Now, if it's the Garden of Eden,
paradise. It's also known as paradise.
It's paradise. What's the snake doing there? What is the serpent doing in paradise?
That's a great question. So the answer to that question is that it was paradise for everyone. Everyone,
even the snake.
Even the snake. Remember, the snake, according to biblical lore, the snake was able to speak. The snake stood up on 2 feet.
But when he spoke, he sounded like the teacher in Charlie Brown. No one could understand him or her.
So because of that, he was intelligent. He was the wisest of all beings at the time. Remember, because Adam and Eve never ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil before that, so they really were innocent. They didn't know they had no clothes on. They didn't know they were supposed to wear clothes. They didn't know any of those things. They were innocent. It was the serpent, the snake, we call the Nachash. It was the serpent, the snake, that knew all these things already because it was the wisest of all creatures.
Wait. Now, did the snake?
He tricked Eve. He tricked Eve.
No,
you know that.
First of all, I didn't hear that the snake was the wisest. And second, did he eat from the tree?
It says that in the Torah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I got to read my Torah.
And that he was wise, sure.
He was the wisest, but he did not eat from the tree of knowledge.
I don't know if he did or not because he wasn't commanded. Remember, Adam and Eve were commanded not to eat from the tree of knowledge. We don't know what other animal or serpent was able to or not able to eat from it.
Interesting.
But the point of the matter was that if you look in the words of the Torah or the Bible, in the book of Genesis, it says the following. It says that what the serpent says, so what were you commanded? And Eve says, I'm not supposed to eat from the tree and I'm not supposed to touch it. But God never commanded not to touch it. So what did the serpent do? What did the serpent do? This is why we always warn, never add to the words or change the words of the Torah. Because when you do, trouble comes along. So what did the serpent do? According to the legend, the serpent pushed her into the tree.
Really?
And she touched it. Because they were told, if you eat from it, you're going to die. She said, if we eat from it or we touch it, we're going to die. So he pushed her into it, and she touched it and she didn't die. She said, oh, if I touched it and I didn't die, I certainly can eat from it because it looks so scrumptious and beautiful.
Interesting.
And she ate from it. And so
she misunderstood God.
And the serpent, or she added to what the words were and didn't follow exactly. And the serpent used that as a way to trick her and push her into it. And then he tricked her into eating it after that, which she shared it with Adam, and that's original sin, they say, but we don't believe in original sin because we believe that everyone's responsible for their own actions.
And really, there's nothing really original. Everything's a copy.
So we don't believe in that.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it's so interesting because actually, believe it or not, sometimes I think about these things.
But you know what's it's a good lesson. I think a lot of times people in general, you play telephone. People embellish on things that they're told. And sometimes it can lead to disaster.
Well, maybe it also has to do with perception. Like you hear something, but it's registering differently in your head.
Sometimes you hear what you want to hear.
That's true too.
Sometimes you hear what you want to hear.
Does that ever happen to you, Rabbi Doug? You're Orthodox Rabbi.
I am.
You're modern Orthodox, right?
Yep.
Okay, so does that ever happen to you?
Do I hear what I want to hear? I guess sometimes I hear what I want to hear,
yeah.
But
especially when it comes to matzo balls. Soup's ready. Wait a minute, I didn't say soup's ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always that interpretation of what time are we sitting down for Shabbos dinner on Friday night? It's ready. Okay, let's go.
Like do you sit with you have 4 daughters?
Yeah, we sit every.
Do you talk about Bible stories?
Absolutely, every single week at the Shabbos table.
That's Saturday.
My
Saturday
kids,
night.
Friday nights.
Or Friday night.
Friday nights and Saturdays, but every Friday night or Saturday afternoon if we don't get to it, my kids share with me Torah stories from the Bible, from that week's Torah portion, from the portion that's read in the synagogue out of the Torah that week. So they learn about it very much in depth, and sometimes they teach me things that I don't know, so it's really great.
Anything recently that they taught you that you didn't know?
I can't think of anything offhand, but it happens all the time.
Oh.
It really does happen all the time.
Is it,
They're great, especially the little ones. Even my first grader who reads Hebrew fluently already.
Her name is Leah.
And she even teaches me things that I don't know. So she's amazing. They're all amazing.
Very nice. Maybe because everyone's perception is different.
Yeah.
And we're all coming from different places.
Yeah.
Because that thing is so interesting. I didn't know that about the story.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go.
Read the Bible.
There you go. So What else do you think is what else do you think is worldly moving? Like if you had a subject that you could find someone to have as a guest on your show, you know, who would the guest be, and what would the subject matter be that you'd like to cover that you haven't been able to?
Well, you know, there's two guests that I've been thinking of recently, and one I've thought of.
Rabbi Doug.
Rabbi Doug is first choice. Hope I'm not embellishing. You know, right now I'm thinking about, I got to watch my words carefully because, you know, of like what you're supposed to do. Well, anyways, a guest that I thought about for a while ago was, she used to be the mayor or the mayor of Cicero, and then the other one recently is Gloria Steinem.
Oh, she'd be a great guest.
Yes, and
she'd be a great guest. One of my favorite thing, I'll say my favorite thing is to have famous people on my show. Obviously, that's like a big thing always. You know, at AIPAC, I had my good friend Rabbi Shmuley Boteach, who has his own TV show and stuff. Yeah. I had him on for the third time.
I'd like to interject here for a moment.
Sure.
Shmuley Boteach, is that pronouncing it right? He wrote a book called. Well,
which one, Kosher Sex?
Yes.
That was his first famous book, but his latest book last year, which came out last year. Now he probably has another book out since then, and I'll find out when I see him at AIPAC in a few weeks. But his last book was called Kosher Jesus. He talks about who Jesus really was to the Jewish people, and you know, a kosher picture of who Jesus was.
Kosher picture.
Well, meaning that not fallacy. Not fallacy, and
so he's like standing around. He's wearing like a robe.
It's not an anti-Jesus book. It's an actual positive book on who Jesus really was and what he was trying to do, and how some people misinterpreted him and some people interpreted him properly.
That sounds good.
And what were the good things and the bad things about that in the eyes of Judaism. It's a very interesting book.
It sounds interesting. The one thing I remember from Kosher Sex is he talks about dating and, you know, this free sex stuff. Ooh. He talks about you either date to mate or date to date. And I think he makes the final argument on date to mate. And when I went online, I saw people people commenting on his book, you know, Jewish and non-Jewish. And a lot of the comments related to that one specific thing, and they were all the same. He makes a good argument. You can't argue against it. And I was really impressed when I read it, and that was a few years ago when I was in Las Vegas. So I just wanted to mention that. I think it's really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, because you think in modern times, oh, I don't know, but you know, it sounds. He makes a good case.
No, I think one of the cool things, I just had on my show a Jewish famous speaker and author. His name is Rabbi Pesach Krohn, who is a world traveler. He speaks all over the world. I've always wanted to have him on my show. He was in Chicago last week, and he did my show with me.
Hey,
so you know, you never know, because the first time I met him was about 8 years ago. Every 7 years, the entire cycle of the Talmud for people who learn one page, one section every day on a daily basis who study Torah regularly from the Talmud, it completes. It takes 7 years to complete.
To get through the whole scroll.
To get through the whole thing, the whole Talmud, every book of the Talmud from beginning to end. And so it takes 7 years of study. And every 7 years there is a worldwide get-together, assembly, convention. We do it here in Chicago. It's at the Rosemont Theater, which is now called the Akai, I believe, theater. And it's in Madison Square Garden, and places in every big city packed to the gills, thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
This is every year?
Every 7 years, in honor of the completion of the entire Talmud.
Okay, but what if somebody finishes
It's called a siyum. You wouldn't finish the year before, because there's a cycle. That when you start one page every day for 7 years.
Everyone starts on the same day?
Everybody starts on the same day, and then you have this siyum, this great celebration at the end of completion.
What if you come in the middle of it? So you start in the middle, then you go to the end, then you start over from the beginning.
Well, if you started in the middle, you'd start where you were, and you wouldn't have completed the whole thing, but you would still join in the celebration with everyone else who did. So with these, you know, hundreds of thousands of people around the world, there's a satellite connected between all the main places. Wow. And Rabbi Pesach Krohn came to Chicago 8 years ago to speak, and I said, I would love to have you on my TV show. I just sat a few seats away from him. All the rabbis in Chicago, not all of them, but most of them, especially congregational rabbis, sit on this dais. You know, so you have this dais, the stage of the Rosemont Theater, which is filled up with these rabbis, and then all the audience, all the participants who are there.
Are there any female rabbis?
None, not in the Orthodox
movement. So this is all Orthodox.
Yeah. So
is this the main location for the whole world, or is this just for Illinois or
This is
Chicago?
for the Chicago area.
Okay.
For the Chicago area. I said Madison Square Garden is the biggest gathering, but we're on satellite with each other. They see us, we see them, speakers from them, and speakers in Chicago all speak, and everybody listens on video screens and everything.
You all speak in Hebrew?
No, it's all in English. Not all in English, but mostly in English. But Rabbi Pesach Kron was here in Chicago speaking at ours 8 years ago at the two Siyums ago.
And now he's going to be on your show.
And now he said to me when I talked to him, then he said, I don't do TV. I don't do TV. So I said, oh no, you don't do TV? Okay, so I accepted it. Right. So this time he's in Chicago, and I went up to him and I said,
do you do TV?
Rabbi Kron, I'm so glad to see you again. I don't know if you remember me, and he did remember me. I'm the one who asked you about doing TV. He says, I've done TV since I saw you. I'll do it with you too. Let's do it today. And we did it that very day. We did it the very day. So it's always great to have those famous people on, you know, and even sometimes people will take a picture with you. They'll say, I can't do an interview, but record my speech. I'm speaking to the whole group, record my speech and put it on. We'll take a picture together. You'll put it on. And I did that with like Susan Rice, who's the ambassador to the United Nations, the United States ambassador to the United Nations. And I did that with Newt Gingrich and with Joe Lieberman. And so it's kind of a cool thing. Having famous people, even taking pictures with them, as you know. I don't want autographs. I'm not interested in their autographs, but I love the idea of having them on my show and talking with them. And I've had so many. And just like when we had our show together, you got the interview together with Joan Rivers and talked to her a little bit, and we put it on the show. Yeah. So that's always an exciting thing to meet those famous people.
It's fun to go out there, and it's always fun to go and do things that you wouldn't normally do and see people you would never have a chance to otherwise.
You know, one of my favorite all-time famous guests is Jerry Markbright. I was so excited, you know, to have the chief NFL referee and who teaches all the other referees and is their mentor on your TV show. And here he is with his wife Roberta and doing TV right here in the Chicago area and living in the Chicago area still and being able to have them on. That was like an exciting thing for me. Yeah. So you never know who you come across and how great those people can be on your show just to have them.
You know, do you think you were influenced on your daughter wanting to go into something to do with politics?
You know, I think that would be something of leadership in high school. During her time in leadership in high school at Ida Crown Jewish Academy, she's the vice president of student council, and she has gone to Washington a number of times for leadership conferences, student leadership conferences, and been part of that. So that's like really an exciting thing for her to be able to do. And it sparked her interest, besides being in Washington a couple of times with the family. So that's always exciting.
It is.
But I got to tell you something, time just flies. We're sitting here and doing this TV show, and
30 seconds
I want to thank you. Listen, it is so exciting to be on Taped with Rabbi Doug and Steph-N-EE today, just like the old days. And let's do it again, because it's a lot of fun, and I just wish you a lot of success with Steph's show and
with Rabbi Doug.
I really am glad to have you. Remember, if you want to email us, info@tvrabbi.com is the email address, and if you want to check out our website, www.tvrabbi.com, where you can also watch former shows on the web. And Stephanie's information is
Steffi234@AOL.com, and thank you for watching Stuff Show. I'm your host, Stephanie Stone, and this is
Taped with Rabbi Doug. So shalom, everyone. Hope to see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
And I'm talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug. Talking about Rabbi Doug on your TV show. Well, he's the rabbi for me. Anytime you need. You're gonna get married or you're gonna die. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug. Gonna see Rabbi Doug on the TV tonight.
This has been a Taped with Rabbi Doug production.